Hi Flosstube, I'm Annie and I am the Proper Stitcher and welcome to episode number 82. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by today. This is a channel where I like to talk about cross stitch and quilting and hopefully give you inspiration to fully finish your projects. And if you're returning, thank you so much for your continued support, all your wonderful comments. I read each and every one of them and I appreciate the time you take to send me a little sweet note. Thank you. So I hope you all have had a wonderful week. I saw you all last week on Thursday and my video took forever to upload. What I have discovered is when I record in the evening and upload in the evening, it does take a lot longer to upload. I think there's just a lot of activity on YouTube. It takes a little longer. But unfortunately, sometimes I can only record later in the day, which is what I'm doing today. I have been up since 6 a.m., just been going, and it's just now 6 o'clock at night. And this is the first opportunity I have had to record my video. So I apologize for that. Hopefully it will not take as long tonight, but if it does, that hopefully explains a little bit for you why sometimes I come to you later in the day than I do other weeks. So my goal would be to get up and record videos right away in the morning. I would have better lighting, probably have a little bit more energy. I don't know. But my mornings are so busy too. So I'm still trying to figure out that balance. I'm just glad I'm coming to you today and that I am not missing a day. So I have had a great week. I have been busy stitching and finishing. I have 3 FFOs to share with you all today. Gray's doing great. She is so glad to be back on campus. Her classes started yesterday. Tristan's had a good week. He and Matthew are out tonight looking at golf clubs. Tristan wants to try his hand at playing golf and taking some golf lessons. So we'll see. He's just been enjoying playing for fun. So I think he just wants to learn to play. So as an adult, he can play. So we'll see. But they're out doing that tonight. I thought while they were gone, I would do a quick video. I am so excited because I got a lot done this week. So what I want to do is go over a couple of other things before I forget. Sorry, I have my notes. I'm so bad about not looking at them, but I have some funny stories to tell you about some of my finishing this week too. Let me go ahead and say this like I do every week. Grab your pen and paper. Grab your favorite beverage. Grab your stitching. Let's have a good time. And let's see if I can remember to share everything with you. But grab your pen and paper. I do have a lot I want to show you. So let's get started. All right, last week I told you all about the retreat that I am co-hosting with Stitch Etc. with the guest designer being Stitching with the Housewives. So excited. The retreat registration opened last Friday. You can still register, although we have filled all the spots. What we have found with these registrations and with these retreats is sometimes things come up and people back out or have to cancel their registration, and so we go to a wait list. So right now we are on a wait list, but I do encourage you all to go to the Stitch Etc. Facebook page and get the Google Doc link and sign up. And you never know, you might get called one day that you have a space available. We will also have future retreats, but right now we're only taking registration for this one retreat. So that is one quick update there. I did a little video on my bookshelves. I will insert that in a few minutes. I know a lot of you were asking questions about some of the pieces I have on my shelf. So I did a quick little video to share with you all. So that's exciting too. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is insert that video here so that you can go ahead and see what's on my bookshelves. So, okay, you all have asked to see my Valentine's Day setup on my bookshelves. So I am going to do just a quick little video of what I have done this year with my bookshelves. At the top, this was a gift given to me, stitched by my friend Kay, and it is a Brenda Gervais pattern. I don't remember the name of it, but it is a newer release, probably 2 years ago. And what I have up here, I took a felted garland that I found at TJ Maxx, maybe Home Goods, a couple of years ago, and I just cut it and kind of string it around my bookshelves. This is a heart that is made out of an old quilt that my friend Bonnie Woomer with the Nebby Needle made for me. She purposed the vintage antique quilt that was pretty tattered, and she makes things with them from time to time. And then down here I just have a glittery heart-shaped box that I got at Hobby Lobby, and a wooden stacked books that were purchased, I believe, at TJ Maxx a couple of years ago. And down here I have a variety of cross-stitch items. This is French Country Amour by JBW Designs. I showed it to you all last year, and I finished it on a Stitch Etc. whiteboard, and I will put the link to this video at the end of today's Flosstube so you can see how I finished that. These are just some smalls that I made. This was a freebie that I got off of a website. I believe that's Threadwork Primitives. I sent this and all of these in this bowl to a professional finisher a few years ago. That was before I started trying to finish on my own. This was a freebie from Primitive Hair, and it says Love Never Fails, and I put 2001. That is the year Matthew and I got married. And this is also a freebie. This is a Not Forgotten Farm freebie. So I guess this is the freebie bowl. And when I sent these to be finished, I asked the finisher, Joy is her name, with Finally Finished, to make me some coordinating Valentine hearts out of the fabric that she used, and this is what she created. I love it. And then over here, I've got this cute little figurine. And then back here, this is also a freebie from the DMC website. I stitched this several years ago, and I love that. I just love that heart-shaped alphabet. This is by Pineberry Lane, and it's called Bushel and a Peck. And at the time I stitched this, it was a freebie in the Punch Needle and Primitive magazine, but I believe it can be purchased now, but that's by Pineberry Lane. And then down here, this is Barbara Anna's Frida and Diego that my friend Kim stitched for me. Absolutely love this frame and this pattern. So fun and colorful. I have more of that felted heart garland and lights and greenery. And then over here, this is from Country Rustic Primitives, and I just finished that this week. And then this heart is a prim heart that is mounted on a bed spring. Super cute. I got that on Etsy. And then we'll come down here. Nothing really has changed in this section since I showed you last. That is an antique sampler. All of my books, my cross-stitch books and history books and quilt books. Up here is the Blackbird design pattern that I finished a couple of months ago. I showed you all. That's from Lily of the Valley, and it is sideways. Let me fix that. That's funny. Now we can see it right side up. There. I wonder how long it's been like that. And then this is a great little gift that my friend from Johnson City, Rita, gave me. This is from Etsy. And then this is from Heartstring Sampler. My friend Kay stitched this as well. A lot of you ask me about this pattern. It's a friendship pattern. The image on the Heartstring Samplery pattern is multicolored, but Kay just stitched it as a red sampler. And then down here, I have just more figurines, that little girl's cross stitching, some antique samplers. Here is another little trinket from my friend Bonnie. She made a strawberry out of a quilt, a piece of quilting. My friend Nancy gave me this doll. It's one of those old Avon dolls, super cute. She had it in her sewing room, and it says, here, I think you can see that. Avon American Heirloom is what it is. I love it. And then another antique sampler, and then some smalls that I have finished. Mostly Blackbird designs, a couple of with thy needle and thread. An old felted tomato. Okay, and then over here I have alphabet hearts that I just finished. This is a JBW Designs, and I love this one. I'm going over it today in the video. I just finished it on a old baseboard that I found at an antique store. Super fun finish. Down here, I have, this is a little heart. This is from my friend Kay. Kay gives me lots of goodies, doesn't she? This is from, I believe this is Hands-On Designs. I think it was a freebie. And this is an old plate I got at TJ Maxx. It's just a plastic plate. I thought it was cute. And this is a Brenda Gervais with thy needle and thread, from her wordplay series. And this is February. I just love all the blues. I finished that, I think last year. Here's the backing that I used on it. I love that little fabric with the little hearts. This is the first time I attached rickrack to a piece. I thought it looked really nice on that pillow. And then I attached a heart charm to it. And then my collection of tomatoes, vintage sewing tomatoes, pincushions, and my little Raggedy Annie doll with her Valentine. So that is all of my decorations on my bookshelf for Valentine's Day. So I hope you all enjoyed that. That is so much fun. I love changing out my bookshelves, and I love sharing it with you, and hopefully give you some ideas on how to decorate with some of your cross-stitch pieces. So let's jump in. Okay, what I think I'm going to do before I show you the FFOs is I want to clear some space on my table because I have a lot I want to share with you today. I even have some quilting things I'm going to talk about. But before I get into all of that stuff, I want to go ahead and announce the giveaways from last week. Last week, we had quite an exciting question, and a lot of you gave me some fabulous answers. My question last week was what is your word of the year? And so many of you shared, and I loved reading it. I even got some inspiration on words and just ways that I want to focus my life this year. And that is the whole purpose of a word of the year. It's not a New Year's resolution. It's not something to distract you from your day-to-day things or to you know, another thing to check off on your list. It's just one of those reminders that you have throughout the year to either words of encouragement, something that you want to work on with yourself. And in time, and as the years go by, so you're doing this for 1 year, it creates a habit, it creates a lifestyle, something that you're used to doing, and that it will then become a habit and then become a character trait or something that you focus on, so that the next year when you add another word, you're building on that. You're expanding on who you are as a person. My word this year is courage. My word last year was peace. But I just enjoyed reading all of your comments. So let's go through the winners. The first item was the Unstitcher from the Fat Quarter Shop with this Chicken Club needle minder. Adorable enamel needle minder. This one goes to Jennifer Kelly. Jennifer Kelly. The second one is a quilt pattern. I'm having a hard time with my R's today. Swallowtail. This goes to Laura Noel, Noell. Number 3 is another quilt pattern. This one is Desert Daybreak. This goes to Rachel C. Rachel in the letter C. Number 4 is this Bee in My Bonnet needle minder. And the Nebby Needle sent me this beautiful pattern with the bee on it. This goes to Judy Jenkins. Judy Jenkins. And Judy, your name was in capital letters. So I know you weren't yelling, but it did I'm assuming it will differentiate your name from other people's name if there is another Judy Jenkins. So yours was in all caps, Judy Jenkins. Number 5 is Married To by Plum Street Sampler. And this goes to Joanne Toby. Joanne Toby. Number 6 is Gather by Teresa Kogut. This goes to Janet Doucette. D-O-U-C-E-T-T-E. Number 7 is Simply Half Yards by It's So Emma. This was from the Fat Quarter Shop. This goes to Kathy Sonnenberg, S-O-N-N-E-N-B-E-R-G. That is a great book, Kathy. You're going to love it. Okay, and then number 8, I had 2 giveaways for this one. This is the Dog Ear Clip, I think that's right, Dog Ear Clipper, your triangle color code or coated washer tape, and your blank foundation paper 12-inch squares. The first one goes to Marlys, M-A-R-L-Y-S, and your last name is A-H-L-B-E-R-G. And the second one goes to Katie Bowers, B-O-W-E-R-S. If I called your name, please email me at theproperstitcher@gmail.com. I will get this in the mail to you probably later next week. I have a trip coming up. I want to tell you about that too. But email me. I'll get that in the mail to you. Tell me your name, what you won, and your address. And I'll get those in the mail to you. So, okay. This week's giveaways will be at the end. Those don't take up as much room as the ones I just showed you. Okay, so let's talk about my finishes. So I'm so excited. Okay, so the first one I'm going to share with you, this is one that I found finished in my box last week when I was cleaning out my room. I was organizing, decluttering, throwing things away, and I found a stack of items that I had finished, but I never FFO'd. So the first one is this piece. This is called Valentine, and it's by Country Rustic Primitives. And I will link her shop below, but it is an Etsy store, so it is a PDF download. I love her site. I love her shop. She has lots of fabulous, quick, simple patterns. This one, what I did, I don't recall what I used because I stitched this a few years ago, but it is a sort of a cranberry red. It looks like I stitched this on 36 count. So this is a simple finish. And what I did is I finished it into a pillow from either a dough bowl, or I'm probably going to put it on my bookshelf, which is in the video you saw it was finished as a book on the bookshelf. So I used the cranberries and cream, I believe. This is the Three Sisters fabric that I had. I got at Country Sampler last year. And then I put this rickrack around the trim. This is from Lady Doc Creates, and this is called Brick House, and it's the smaller rickrack. And then I found this pin in my stash. It's just black and red, and it has like a antique looking rose on it, and I just put it in there. So what I did is I'm going to also at the end of this video, you can click a link to get to see my finishing tutorial on how to finish pillows and the finishing tutorial on how to mount something on a board. Both of those will be helpful with what I'm showing you today. But on this one, I just did a simple pillow finish. And so I cut the fabric to the size that I wanted. And I on this one decided to leave a good inch all the way around the pillow because I wanted it to be a little bit bigger than the stitched part. And then what I did is I cut the backing to fit it. I did iron on interfacing behind the stitched piece. And the reason I do that is so when I am stuffing it with the stuffing, the Mountain Mist polyfill, it protects your stitched piece a little bit. So I stuffed it, then I closed up the opening at the bottom, and then when I put the rickrack on, I used a coordinating red piece of thread and went all the way around it. And I love how it turned out. I like that it's simple. I I like how it can stand up on the shelf or in a bowl. It's just really, really pretty. I had a good afternoon finishing this one, but I had a fun time stitching it too. So one thing I want to say for those of you who are new, I am not a professional finisher, never have I claimed to be. My cross-stitching philosophy is, and this is something I have said since my very first Flosstube, which was on April 1st, 2021. So we're coming up on 2 years I've been doing this. But the very first thing I wanted to share with you all on that first Flosstube is I would rather have a finished project than a perfect project. And what that means is I would rather have something finished than have a stack of unfinished items that are just waiting to be finished because I am afraid to finish it. And what I found through meeting people at cross-stitch retreats and cross-stitching days, things like that, is a lot of people just feel like they cannot finish their own pieces. And I am not saying you should not send it to a professional finisher. I'm just saying some people would rather save that money and use it towards purchasing more cross-stitch fabric and floss and all the goodies. But what I wanted to do with this Flosstube and from the beginning is just say, take that fear out of finishing your pieces, your objects, your FFOs. Take that fear out of it and enjoy the process. And so that is through practice. That is through just trial and error, and start off on scrap pieces of linen and scrap pieces of fabric, and don't let your first piece be your biggest piece that you've ever stitched. And you know, that's probably not the best thing to do, but just enjoy the process. And that is my goal. That is my philosophy on this channel and on cross-stitching. I am not perfect. I make mistakes. I make mistakes with every single one that I finish. A couple that I'm going to share with you today that were pretty comical, but that is part of the journey. And in time, they will get better. They will get easier. I won't make as many mistakes, but I love to say that I finished something. Now, I will probably in the future send things to a professional finisher to be finished, because I feel like some pieces need or want that. But right now, it's been a while since I've sent something to a professional finisher, just because I really want to try and learn and how to finish my own pieces. So with that being said, I have 2 more to show you, but that is my Country Rustic Primitives Valentine. And look at that little bitty heart. So cute. I did stitch this 1 strand of floss over 2 because it is on 36 count. That would be super cute, stitched bigger count if you wanted to make a bigger pillow. Okay, my next one is JBW's O'er the Fields We Go. And before I show y'all this, sorry, a little teaser, I shouldn't have done that. My friend Judy, she is just a wonderful, and it was just announced with Stitch Away at Keepsakes in Cincinnati, Ohio. Every January they have Stitch Away in Ohio, and it is a weekend retreat. And they have a secret guest designer, like a surprise guest designer. And it was announced, of course, the night of the retreat. I did not get to go. I wish I'd gone. But Judy was their guest designer. And so look on Instagram. Judy actually recorded a Flosstube today. I haven't watched it yet. But go and watch her Flosstube. I'm sure she has lots of information about it. But Judy, I'm so proud of you. That is amazing. I cannot imagine what all of those attendees felt when they found out you were the guest designer. I would have just been fangirling, and I've met you and I know you. I still would have been excited and be like, I get to see Judy again. But congratulations, Judy, and all of the attendees who got to meet her. And she had an exclusive pattern just for the attendees. So go and watch her video. I'm sure there'll be other Flosstubes about it. Okay, without further ado, here is my finish of Judy's O'er the Fields We Go. And I'm going to stand up to show you this so I can get in a little closer. So I did this as a stitch along with Merritt Crawford, and we just had so much fun. She finished hers completely in a completely different style, stitched it on red with white. I decided to use natural linen and the red floss. So I'm going to tell you all the details in just a second. But here's the front. And then here's the back. And I still have some fuzzies poking out. I need to take a lint roller to it. I love this fabric so much. I got it at Country Sampler when I was there in December. So I'll list it at the bottom, which fabric line it is. I cannot remember off the top of my head. So this was stitched on 36 count Fox and Rabbit flannel. I used Turkish Red Weeks Dye Works floss. I used 1 strand of floss over 2. I absolutely love this pattern. I love the variegation of that Turkish red. I think this would be beautiful stitched in green. So pretty. I love the alphabet, how it's just so whimsical and just follows the curve of the mountains and the fields. So pretty. Okay, so what I did with this is it took a lot of measuring. So when you're doing a pillow that you want to have a frame around the front, figure out how much of that fabric you want to show. So in this case, I wanted at least 1 inch of the quilt fabric to show through, which meant that I had to cut it in 1.5 inch strips because a 1/4 inch seam allowance goes here and a 1/4 inch seam allowance goes here. So that's going to take it down to your 1 inch. If you're wanting it to be 2 inches, then cut your fabric 2.5 inches. So just add that 1/2 inch if you're framing the pillow. So what I did is I measured all the way around the stitched piece. I measured this to be 1 inch all the way around. So I wanted to make sure that I had a good inch of the linen, from the stitch piece to the edge. And then I cut my fabric. So I did the sides first, and then I measured the length, top and bottom. And then once I had that measurement of the front, then I could cut my fabric for the back. I did the same as I did the other. I did use a piece of interfacing behind the stitched piece so that when I stuffed it, it protected the linen. And then I follow Vanna Pfeiffer's tutorial, the Twisted Stitcher, on her pillow finishing. I also put mine at the end of this video, but it takes a lot of lofting of the polyfill and just taking your time, and don't put in big pieces, just put in small pieces at a time. So I am so happy with how this turned out. This can go on a bookshelf, this can go on my sofa, this can go propped against something else that's sets out on a piece of furniture. If you have a giant tree, it can be sort of a focal point on your tree. If you have a big dough bowl, you can put it there. Just lots of choices. But I am so glad to have this finished, and I am so glad that I got this fabric. I did not intend on using this fabric for this finish, but when I was playing around with fabric before I started finishing, I laid this up against that Turkish red, and that red just pulled out, and it just coordinated just very nicely with it. So I'm so happy with how this turned out. So over the fields we go. I am going to put Merritt's Instagram and her Flosstube in the show notes below. We did this together. Lots of you joined in. If you want to go on Instagram, and if you use the hashtag JBW Over the Fields SAL, you can see how other people finish theirs. So sweet. So that is my second FFO for this week. Oh, and here's the Brick House rickrack from the Valentine. Let me show you. This is a great rickrack. Can you see that? I just love Lady Dot Creates. I'm going to link her Etsy shop below too. Your local needlework shop will have some of their trim, but if you want to buy directly from Lady Dot Creates, she has chenilles, she has big rickrack, small rickrack, all different sizes, and she has so many other things on her site. Okay, so the last FFO from this week is JBW's Alphabet Hearts. JBW Design's Alphabet Hearts. And this is a pattern that I started a year ago, January. Hang on. I having trouble. There we go. So this is a sweet Valentine design, alphabet hearts. So funny story. So let me show this to you, and then I'm going to tell you my mistake that I make. And I'm hoping this doesn't fall apart, because it did fall apart a minute ago. Okay, so here is my finish. So this is the piece I showed you last week I was working on. Last week I had, I think, almost the A finished and up to here. And I really wanted to get this done. So I worked on it over the weekend. Watched a lot of Flosstube. I'll tell you all about those. And really stayed up late a couple of nights trying to finish it. So this is stitched on 32 count 32 count fabric flare Parisian stripes. So let me just show it to you, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about it. This is, I mounted it on a on a baseboard that I found at an antique store. And it was longer than the piece, but I really wanted it to be sort of different than my other finishes. So I attached this little jar with hot glue. And then I found these little flowers. They were in a bunch, and I cut them up and attached them with some greenery and some of the same twine. I made a little twine loop bow and added it behind the flower. These are not glued in. These just come right out. And then on the middle piece, so on the stitched piece, so I did double mounting. I had this pink fabric in my stash. I think it was from a children's quilt that I made, a baby quilt once. And then I used the Lori Holt rickrack. And so I did 2 pieces of sticky board. I did not use interfacing on this, because what I've learned when you use to mount your pieces, and especially if it has a border or any lines, the interfacing can, if it does not go on there just right, it'll make it wonky and wavy. So I did not use interfacing, but I did use quilt batting behind these 2 pieces to give it a little bit of dimension. So here's the top. And this is really just a rustic piece of a baseboard. Okay, so what I did is the first time I put attached this, it didn't stick and it fell right off. Like, I thought it was done, and I had it up on my shelf and I heard something fall, and it was this little jar. So I had to put it back on. Well, it was sitting on my table, laying flat, and I glued it on. And I went to, after it had been drying for a while, I went to put the flowers inside, and I realized I glued the vase upside down. So it was turned this way, and so I had to pry it off and do it all over again. So, oh, that was funny. But anyway, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I used 2 strands of floss over 2 because this is 32 count. And I mentioned last week that I did not use all of the called for colors, and that was just because I did not have them in my stash. I would recommend using the called for colors, because the colors I chose, I had to change a lot of times. Like I had this is supposed to be a pale or a light green, and I had it too pale. So where you see this and this, these 2 letters, and this squiggly line and something else, I had to rip out and change the color because it just was not showing up. And I don't do that often. I can find a way to make something work and not let it bother me, but it was really too light. You couldn't even see it. So I am happy with the color change that I made. I just gave it a little bit more of a, I selected a darker green. But the green that I chose before was not the called for green. It was just one that I had, and I just didn't pick a good color. So here is JBW's Alphabet Hearts. It will go on the upper shelf. You saw it in the video, but this was so much fun to stitch. I am definitely going to stitch Judy's, I think it's Patriotic Row or something like that. It's her 4th of July, her patriotic theme pattern like this. So I'm excited to do that so I can have it up with Pierre and Pierre's sailboat. So thank you, Judy, for another fabulous, fabulous, fabulous chart. I love it. Alphabet Hearts by JBW Designs. So that completes all of my FFOs for this week. So very, very busy week. Okay, let me look at my notes because I cannot remember. Let me show you my whips now. I worked on the Alphabet Hearts for the majority of the weekend. I really, really wanted to get that done so I could add it to my display. And so that consumed a lot of my weekend. So here are the other whips that I worked on this weekend. So I worked on Stacy Nash Primitives Deck the Coop Pin Keep. Did not work on this very much, just one evening for about an hour. I bought this as a kit when I was at Country Sampler. So this is stitched on 36 count Winter's Brew. And here's my little progress. So I worked on this part of the border last night. Not very much. So this is the top and it goes down the side. So not a lot of exciting things, but because this is 36 count, I'm using 1 strand of floss over 2. But I love this. Someone emailed me their finish. They finished it and it was beautiful. So it really motivated me to work on this. I am using all of the called for floss. So 36 count Winter's Brew, and it's Deck the Coop Pin Keep. And this is a new release. This just came out this fall, or this winter. Okay, my next one is one that I really want to have finished by spring so we can go in my spring decorations. This is Spring Frolic at Benny Hill by With Thy Needle and Thread. And I am using all of the called for floss, and I am stitching this on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha. So what I worked on was I filled in the grass. That's all I got done. But that was a whole night of stitching. I think I had like 5 rows of grass to fill in, maybe 6. So this is so pretty, and I don't know how I want to finish it, but I'm thinking I want to try how to make a standing piece. You know how you've seen people finish standing dolls or standing mounted pieces. So I think I'm going to do that. But I just love the blues and the whites. So pretty. So all I have left is this bunny and the 1, 2, 3. And that is it. So I'll work on this week. So much fun. It's another one of those patterns that I found when I was cleaning out my room. I completely forgot about it. My next one is from Plum Street Sampler, and it is Soul Sisters. And I love this one so much. I'm enjoying it a lot. This is being stitched on 37 count Russian tea cake linen by Legacy Linen, and this is my progress. So last week I talked to you all about how her head is stitched over 1, and a lot of you emailed me or messaged me that on 37 count, if you do something over 1, you can do half stitches or tent stitches. And I was like, duh, it even said that in the directions. So when you get cross stitch patterns that have directions, read them, because usually there's something in there that you will want to know. So clearly it stated that in here, and I didn't read the directions. But so last week, or this weekend, I worked on the blue at the top, and I started those 2 roofs for the houses. So I'm excited. Coming along nicely. It's such a fun stitch. So many pretty colors. That blue in there is Deep Fennel by Classic Colorworks. And it is such a beautiful color. That is the color of the sky. Deep Fennel, Classic Colorworks. So pretty. I'm using all the called for colors on here. So that one is a favorite right now. And then I was able to work on Quaker Christmas a little bit. So this, I think, will become my morning stitch for a little while, or at least every day, try to do at least 30 minutes on this, if not more. It's a long pattern. So this is a Quaker Christmas from Bygone Stitches. This is a stitch along I've been doing for a long time, for about 2 years now, almost. This summer will be 2 years. But Artie the Vintage Stitcher and I started this 2 summers ago. And since I saw y'all last week, I showed you that I worked on this on my 12 by 12 for New Year's Eve. So I've kept it by my chair so that I can remember it's there. Don't forget about it. Pull it out. I really want to get this done. So this is what I worked on this weekend, or this week. I did this heart. I just love it. And you know what would be nice? Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just show you this. This heart, and then I started this little snowflake motif right here. This is being stitched on 40 count cream Edinburgh. I'm using Classic Colorworks Balsam Fir, Cupid, and a Yield Gold. And I'm stitching it 1 strand of floss over 2. I just love this so much. But I have talked to you all before about you can pull motifs out of a sampler and make it your own. Like if you see a sampler and you think, I don't want to stitch anything that big, or I've never stitched anything that big. Well, look at it. You might be able to pull little motifs out. And this is a perfect pattern to do that. You can pull out so many small little motifs. For instance, if you are wanting this to be a little Valentine, you can stitch this little heart right here and make it a little Valentine gift, or put it on top of a pin, make a little pin cushion out of it. So many things you can do. Even though this is a Christmas pattern, I found a little Valentine motif. Here's another little heart right here, right there. The little birds you can do that with. Even these little flower motifs can be used for other times of the year. So much you can do. Here's another little heart right here. So if you have this pattern, or if you have other patterns like it, or bigger patterns, just find ways that you can make it another season, or make it a small. Here's this with these little hearts. So many cute things. But I am really going to make some progress on this. And that is all of my whips from this past week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I think I got a lot done between finishing. Since I only had half of Alphabet Hearts done last week, I completely finished it and worked on those items. So much fun. Okay. Oh, I think I got a lot of excited viewers from talking about Pierre, excuse me, giving Pierre a sailboat. For those of you who are new, last summer, I stitched Artful Offerings Seaside Sparrow, and we nicknamed him Pierre because he was wearing a little beret, and we just thought that he looked French and it was cute, and we just liked calling him Pierre, so we gave him a name. This year, I've decided Pierre needs a boat. So I am going to stitch, sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. I am going to stitch Americana Sailboat Sampler by Artful Offerings, and this will be Pierre's boat, his sailboat. I think I'm going to start this on February 1st. I have my linen. I have half the floss. A lot of you said that you may join me. You are welcome to. I think it would be fun. We can call it hashtag something about Pierre's boat. I'll think about it. But on February 1st, we will definitely start this. And I hope to have it done by this summer. Fingers crossed. So I called my friend Kim with Stitch Etc. and I asked her to send me the over-dyed floss that goes with the pattern. And so she did. I still need to pull the DMC. I think I need to go through my stash. I think I have the majority of the DMC floss. But she sent me the overdyes. I'm going to show you that. And I picked out my fabric. So the fabric I'm going to use is 36 count paper bark linen by Fox and Rabbit. And here it is. It is a good neutral with a little bit of modeling to it. Not a lot. It's a really nice creamy color. Really pretty. And I have not cut it yet. I'm not sure how much I need to cut. I haven't measured it yet. It's 186 wide by 183 high. The design size is 10.5 inches by 10.5 inches. So it's going to be a nice size. They finished it into a pillow. You can see this pillow right here. I will probably frame it, mount it. I don't know if I'm going to finish it into a pillow. Maybe I will. Ooh, maybe I'll do something similar like this and find some really cool nautical type fabric. Okay, so got my fabric right here. Fox and Rabbit 36 count paper bark linen. The designer used Artful Offerings. They used Seraphim fabric, and the color they used is Old Stationery. Another great fabric. Use whatever you have in your stash. I pulled this from my stash. I just went through and found something that looked like a good neutral. Okay, so here are the colors that Kim sent me. Here's chalk. These are all Gentle Arts. I'm not wearing my glasses. I can't see. This is Blackboard. I just love those colors together. Are you ready for this? This is Freedom. Look at that. Such a pretty blue. This is Straw Bonnet. Pecan Pie. Gold Leaf. Oh, I love that. And Grecian Gold. Look at these colors. So I need to add my DMC colors to it, which I know I have. Like the red is DMC 22. Another red is DMC 21. Dungarees, she did not have, but I think I have that. That is another, I need 2 skeins of that. So that's a blue. And that's all I still have left to get. So I will look through my stash and pull all of those. I am so excited. I had so much fun stitching Pierre, Seaside Sparrow. And I love Artful Offerings patterns. And this is just the cutest little sailboat. So that is going to start February 1st. He is going in, or the boat is going in, a Farmhouse Needleworks gift bag or project bag that they gave me last year at the Stitch Etc. retreat. So I thought it was perfect with all of the patriotic nautical beach fabric. So cute. And I have my little thread keeper ready to go. So I am going to pull, before I start, I'm going to pull the rest of the DMC and get him set up. I am just so excited. I hope you join me. I think we would have so much fun stitching that. So that is, that's all my whips. That is my plans for February for starting that. And so I'm excited to tell you that I am leaving tomorrow to go visit my sister Lisa. So a lot of you who have been with me since the beginning have heard me talk about my sister Lisa. She lives in Florida, and you've been on the journey with me. You know that she has had some illness in the past. And when she was sick, I made her a quilt, and it was a jelly roll quilt, and she just loved it. Absolutely loved it. And she's doing a lot better now. And last year, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, her husband bought her a sewing machine. And she's been wanting to learn how to quilt. And she's asked me to come down and help her learn how to use her sewing machine, help her with just a quick, simple, easy quilt. And she's had her fabric for a while, it's just the timing hasn't worked out. And so finally I just said, you know what, I'm going to come and visit and we're going to make a week of it. And my other sister, Jamie, is coming down just for the weekend. She lives a couple hours away and she will be there Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're going to have, Lisa said, we're going to have like, she doesn't know what 24 hours of cross stitch is, but she said, we're going to have like a 24-hour quilting party. So that's not going to happen, but I want to show you the fabric I'm taking. So neither of these ladies have quilted. Neither of them know how to use a sewing machine. Oddly enough, my brother-in-law, Dan, Lisa's husband, does know how to sew, does know how to use a sewing machine. So he's going to be my assistant. So he has watched all the Flosstube, the quilting videos I've sent him for reference so that at least one of them knows what I'm talking about. And we're going to just have so much fun. So I want to show you the fabric I'm taking and tell you a little bit about it. So my sister Jamie has a granddaughter and her name is Reese. And so when my sister Jamie said that she wanted to come too, I was like, great, do you want to learn how to quilt? And she's like, I don't know. I don't have fabric. I don't have all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, I'll hook you up. I've got so much in my stash. I have stuff that I don't use. I mean, y'all see it every week sitting on my shelf, and it's actually empty now because it's all right here on my table. But I said, I have plenty. You do not need to buy a thing, I promise. So I remembered I had this little girl quilt, youthful, feminine fabric. And I said, would you like to make a quilt for Reese? We can make a small little throw blanket for her. Like a, TV blanket, when you're sitting on the sofa watching TV. And if you enjoy it, then I have other fabric and you can make one for yourself. But I have no other use for this little girl fabric. So she was like, okay. So anyway, this is called Sunday Picnic. And it is by, I can never pronounce her name, but she's a moda designer. Her name is Stacy. I'll show it to you. Yes, you. I'm not even sure. I know I'm butchering that. I'm not saying it right, but it is adorable, adorable. So we're just making simple charm pack quilts. I sent them beginner quilt videos to watch. We're just sewing charms in a row and making it the size we want, doing a simple backing, simple binding, nothing fancy, just true beginner. So this is so cute. I just thought this was so fun. All these fun little colors, this little kite fabric, just so many cute pieces within, little ladybugs, so many cute things. So that's exciting. I'm excited for little Reese to have a cute little quilt. But so here are the squares. This is the backing fabric, and then this is the binding. And I'm just so excited that I have this in my stash. I'm so excited to share it. So that is quilt number 1 that we will be working on. Now, all these quilts will not be coming back with me, so I'll take photos and share them with you next time. I'm bringing some extra white charm packs because what I have found when you're making a charm pack quilt, it's good to add in some white, especially for the one that I only have 2 packs of charm packs, because it'll help it go a little farther. So it'll give me a little bit more to work with. I have lots of charm packs to take, little white charm packs. So Lisa and I have the same patriotic fabric. We've got this Land of Liberty by Riley Blake, My Mind's Eye, a couple of years ago. So here are all of here's an image of all of the ones on the back. So here are the little fabrics. I am so excited. Lisa's excited. Look at that pinwheel. So cute. So cute. So this will be one of the quilts that I make. And I have plenty of charm packs for that. I think we could even get 2 quilts out of that. So, and then this will be my backing fabric. And my binding fabric I need to find. I cannot find the checks that I bought. And if I don't find them, I'm just going to use either the red or the blue that I had in my stash. So that's another quilt I'm making. Then for Jamie, I have this. This is Red, White, Bang. This is also by Riley Blake, but super cute. Here are all the pieces behind of it. So we have some paisley, some vintage swimsuits. I already opened this. Watermelon, flags, stars. So cute. So, so cute. Oh, here's a little swimsuit one. I love that. So that will be the top. And this will be, oh, maybe this will be for Pierre's boat too, huh? But here's some boat fabric, and then this a backing fabric, and this will be the binding. So that is that's another quilt that we will hopefully get to work on. And I'm also bringing one more just in case they don't like this, then we can make one of these. This is by Rue 1800, excuse me, by Three Sisters. This is Rue 1800. These are beautiful, little, very feminine, French country looking fabrics. So pretty. So excited about this one. I've been wanting to make something with these for a while, so maybe I'll make these and let them, we'll just see. We'll see what everybody wants. So with that will be the quilt top. This is for the backing. And this is the binding. Just some pink polka dots. So I'm leaving tomorrow, and depending on how our time is going and how much time it's going to take, Jamie's there just for the weekend, and if we don't get it all finished, then we'll work on it some when she's gone, or when she leaves, but I will definitely probably come back either Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe Thursday. It just depends. It's kind of a long drive to go and only stay a short amount of time, so I may come back Wednesday. I'm not sure yet. So if you don't see me on Thursday next week, I will record when I get back and I'll tell you all about it, but you will probably see me Friday or Saturday of next week. So I'm excited, yay, but I will not record a video while I'm there. I'll just do that when I get back. So that is my exciting news for the weekend. So, okay, I want to give y'all some giveaways this week. So what my question's going to be, first let's back up. If you'd like to enter for a giveaway, be a subscriber to my channel, like the video, and answer below the question, and then list the number, coordinating number of the item that you would like to be entered to win. Please do not email me your answer. Please do not message me on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else your answer. The random comment picker only selects from YouTube. So unfortunately, if you send me a message, I cannot put it into the YouTube random comment picker. So hope that makes sense. All right, so the question this week is, okay, the reason I'm asking you this question is because I've been watching a lot of Flosstube over the last week, but I also found some new Flosstubers. And I watch all of my regulars that I watch all the time, but I found some new ones this week that I wanted to share with you. And I think that this community, I really, really love the Flosstube community. Everybody is so nice. Everybody is so giving of their time. If I have a question, I can email a lot of my Flosstube friends and they will let me know. I mean, it's just such a giving community, not only with their time to take to record the Flosstube, but giving with their knowledge and their information, and not just with you as viewers, but with other Flosstubers. They are also wonderful. But I just can't say that enough, that this is just a fabulous community. I just really do enjoy. I've met a lot of Flosstubers. We formed friendships. A lot of them I have not met, and we have formed friendships either through texting or email or messaging. So it's just a wonderful community. So I wanted to go over some new Flosstubers that I have found. I've watched my regulars over the last week. You know, I watched Celeste Creates. She has a new whip parade if you want to see some of her whips. She has so many beautiful, beautiful designs. I watched the Virginia Stitcher. She's always a joy to watch. She had a lot of whips to show too. Of course, I always watch the Bougie Stitchers. I just love Jenny and Nancy. The Vintage Stitcher, Artie, is one of the first Flosstubers I ever emailed because she and I started around the same time. She started before I did, and I just emailed her and I was like, how did you do it? How did you get started? And she was so kind and such a wonderful, wonderful resource and a mentor to me starting off as a Flosstuber. So I watched Artie the Vintage Stitcher a lot too, and I'll list these below. But there are a lot of new Flosstubers, and I think it's important for us to just give these new guys a shout out and maybe watch them. And you know, I love to know, what are you watching? You know, who are the new Flosstubers you're watching, or who are some of the regular ones that you watch? I think it's great for us to go through and read the comments, and you'll be able to see what other people are watching, and it'll give you some ideas of other Flosstubers to watch. So I encourage you all to do that. It's a lot of fun to read the comments in the YouTube comments below. Okay, so some of the new Flosstubers that I found, and this lady is not new, but she's new to me. Mrs. Jones Stitches, Holly Jones. She has so many beautiful stitching. She goes to retreats. She's just a lot of fun to watch. She has fabulous finishing too. Antique Needleworkers. They are brand new. They just did their first Flosstube. Liz and Shelly are their names. And I met them at StitchCon last summer. And it was funny because I was on YouTube one day and I was going through all the, you know, the suggestions and the thumbnails. And I was like, I know those ladies. They look familiar. I've met them. And sure enough, it was Liz and Shelly. They live outside Cincinnati. Their LNS is Keepsakes. So it was so much fun to meet them, and it was so much fun to see their first Flosstube. So go and check them out. They had a fantastic whip parade. They have a great energy. A lot of people, I have found that, you know, I'm used to doing this on my own now. And so when I am recording with someone else, it's not, the rhythm's not there because I'm not used to someone else being with me. These ladies hit it off just right. You can tell that they're good friends. You can tell that they enjoy it. They enjoy stitching. So it was a lot of fun to watch them. But they are the Antique Needleworkers. And then the third new Flosstuber, she just recorded her second one. Her name is Lauren, but her channel is called New Hampshire Stitcher. And she stitches so many beautiful things. She started stitching during COVID. Just a lot of fun to hear her story and to see what she's working on. And I'm excited to see where her journey goes. So tell me, that is my question to you this week to enter the giveaway. Who are you watching on Flosstube? I mean, you don't have to tell me everybody. You don't have to tell me your favorite. You don't have to, you know, just give us some names. Give us some Flosstubers that you enjoy watching. And if you are looking for new Flosstubers to watch or to add to your list that you watch, because I watch Flosstube like it's TV, because I never can find anything that I want to watch on TV. So I usually have Flosstube on in the background. So I think a lot of people are like that. So there are a lot of hours in the day that we may want to fill our time with Flosstube. So look below, read the comments below. Maybe you'll find someone new. With that being said, answer that below, be a subscriber, like the video, answer the question, and here we go. These are the giveaways for this week. And I will announce these winners the next video. This is Country Cottage Needleworks, just another button company. This is Winter, and I have the buttons to go with it. So the Winter Country Cottage Needleworks, number 1. Number 2 is Heart and Hand Winter, Bird in Hand Winter, number 2. Number 3, Heart and Hand Bernard, Cute Snowman, that's number 3. Number 4, from Bonnie Woomer with the Nebby Needle, this is Blue Blooming Sampler. So that is number 4. And number 5 is from Fat Quarter Shop. This is Ivy and Fern. It is an It's So Emma quilt pattern. And this travel size mini rotary cutting mat. Kimberly cuts 5.5 inch. Ooh, maybe I should keep this for this weekend. Just kidding. 5.5 inch charm square rotary cutting mat. So these two are number 5. So that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my finishes. I hope that you all have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoy all the things that you do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.